feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I'm so happy to have you. If you're my previous subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we're going to be focusing on specifically the United States economy and what's going to happen after it collapse. We've been talking about it for 2 years. I've been preparing you mentally and physically and emotionally and spiritually. So this is not something that is unexpected in any way, but it's something that is expected to happen or occur. So we are going to be talking about that in today's video. Everything is timestamped in the description if you are interested in just jumping around. At the end of the video, we will be taking subscribers' questions. But excuse me. Without further ado, let's just begin. I'm sorry, I just started. So this video is being recorded on October 17, 2022 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want some proof, well, here's the current news article on Google. So you can kind of look up the date when it was released. It was released 3 days from today. So if you look up that article and you find it, that's when you know this video is being recorded as extra proof. All right. So this is a quick disclaimer on your screen right now. Just feel free to read them on your own time. Please keep in mind this video is just for entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. I am also not a financial advisor, so just take what I say with a grain of salt. I am not responsible for anything you do outside of this video. Okay, so we will be taking questions. Now, if you are somebody who is asking, wants to know something virtually in terms of virtual currency, I will be making a dedicated video dedicated to virtual currency. So if you have any questions, drop them in the description below or the comment section, and I will answer them in another video whenever that virtual video comes out. Okay, let's see. Hi, Peg. Hi, Julie. Shalom. Happy Monday to you guys. Okay, so I'm not going to get distracted, I promise you. We're just going to get straight into the reading. Okay, so the first thing first is that Biden said according to news articles, ironically enough, when I was doing my midterm tarot card readings, you have not been keeping up with that. I did say that I saw around the midterm, the new development occurred, and it's thought like an economic collapse or something wrong with the economy, like breaking news. It may not even be like actual breaking news in terms of like it actually occurred. This might be like what happened today with, news articles are saying that the United States is likely to head into a recession. So that could just be as simple as that. But nonetheless, that is very important, especially right before in the midterm election. So Biden said on the news media that the United States economy is extremely strong. What I want to do is I want to take a look at that and see, is he right? I'm going to take a look. But before we do, I do want to quickly say, if you guys are interested in Biden's tarot deck, this is America Eclipse. And it's really interesting. I have not used this tarot deck. I will be using the tarot deck probably in today's video. I will be using it to really read on Donald Trump as well. So if you were interested in kind of see how the tarot card works, I will put the link to that description in the, I'll put the link to that tarot card in the description and in the comment section if you want to buy it. This deck is $35 just with the deck alone. With the book, I believe it is $60, but don't quote me. You can find it all on the website below. Okay, let's start. Is it true what Biden said that the United States economy is extremely strong? Okay. Okay, there you go. So now you guys should be able to see. How's the U.S. economy? Okay, so it seemed to me that when Biden became president in the past, which is this card here with the star card, he came in with an economy that is almost like he had an advantage over Trump. And the advantage is that a lot of people left their job because of the COVID pandemic. And so therefore, the economy appeared good when people were going back into work. Now, what we're starting to see now is that we're starting to see those people already back at work. That means that a lot of people are not going back into the work fields, right? And that is because the people who already came back in the last 2 years of the Biden presidency after the COVID pandemic and everybody had to go back to work. We do have here in the middle card, though, we do have the challenge, which is the page of sword. And the page of sword really comes here through at the vaccine. This is my COVID vaccine card. And that is the challenge. The challenge is in this aspect here, is talking about the end of the COVID pandemic and the start of a new era, which means the COVID era has ended. Yes, there are going to be some scares of COVID and the potentiality of another lockdown. That's something I talked about in another video. But what it is talking about here is that the era of COVID is over. The longevity, the honeymoon for the Biden presidency is over. We have here the challenge to that is the Ace of Pentacles. What's the thing that this is challenging? It's challenging the Ace of Pentacles, right? And the Ace of Pentacles card is here. It's almost like it's giving Biden an advantage. Now, what Biden has to do now is he has to start touting all the things that he did when the economy was a lot better than where it is right now, and how he did to fix it. He needs to talk policy, right? And on the right side here, on the right side, we have the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands is kind of telling me that in a bit, it almost feels like the country's going backwards. It's really what it feels like. In terms of the U.S. economy, it's going backwards. It's starting to roll really rapidly backwards. So it feels like, in a way, this might be indicating that the Republicans may have an advantage going into the 2022 midterm. Yes, they may have lost ground with the Roe versus Wade being overturned, but with the new information coming out that the economy potentially may crash with all the news media and the news outlets, it is telling me that it's now favoring the Republicans again. We'll start to discover that on my birthday. We'll do a reading on that and see what the state of the midterms is on my birthday, and then we'll do one more in November, and then I will release that results to you guys publicly. But it looks to me that the U.S. economy is not favoring the Democrats anymore. And not that it ever was, but it seems like it's becoming more of a pressing issue than it has been in the past, which means that the question that really now comes to mind is, when you go to vote, are you voting for rice or are you voting for money? That is really the question. That is kind of like the struggle, the disparity between the two political parties. And that is really a choice that a lot of you guys are going to have to make going into this midterm election, as what I see in the card. Julie, people left for jobs for the shutdown, never went back. They made other employment choices for personal fulfillment, not just a wage. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that is 100% true. Just got that deck or book last month. Being new to tarot and socialism is a bit above me right now, but I'm keeping at it. Right. Well, let me know what you think of that deck. I just got it today. Okay, so news reports are now coming out about today. Ironically, when I uploaded this video, when I put the live upcoming, it was saying that all the news media, right when I posted a video, when we go live today, all the news outlets were saying today that the United States is heading to a recession, which is ironic. But to say the least, experts are expecting the United States to slip into a recession within the next 6 to 12 months. The question is it coming sooner or is it coming early, like I said? So in the past, I talked about in the tarot card reading where it's going to happen around December, around Christmas time. It could happen as early as October. Now we're in the month of October. October's almost over. So the question is when it's going to happen. It's not if, when it's going to happen. And that's really what it really comes down to, is how the United States economy crashes. Because it's very important at a certain time frame, a certain time period. That can really change the current trajectory of the United States and our path forward. So it really is going to change everything going forward. So we're going to read on that right now. We're going to take a look and use the fortune cookies. I think that might be a really good starter. News reports are now coming out today. Spirit saying, Tommy, is my intuition right that the United States is going to head into a recession earlier than expected? Okay. And one more time. One more card. Okay. So I'll turn that upside down. Okay, so here are the 3 fortune cookie cards. And the first card that comes up is difficult times, right? We have difficult times. Be on your guard against chaos and unforeseen perils or emotional upheaval are foretold. So what it's really talking about here is that it feels like there's a potentiality that it may come sooner, and that might have to do with the travel industry. So if you really want to know how the economy is doing, look at travel. Look at anything in terms of destination hotspots, people traveling, people going elsewhere. The gift shop, mom and dad restaurants, mom and dad gift shop, those type of things. Areas where people go to buy things when they're out and about, when during a good economy. Look to those areas. If you see less amount of people, nobody there, or whatever it is, if you see less of something, chances are that is an indicator of something happening. One of those indicators that I noticed is a lot of businesses are putting out Christmas stuff earlier this year than had ever been before, and that is because they know something's going to happen, and so they need to get in the money before it is too late. So if you have not been noticing that, those are some key outliers if you have not noticed that. The next thing is we have travel. Travel is reversed. And like I said, if people are going less of somewhere, chances are that is an indicator the economy is not doing well. People have less money. People are not fortunate enough to be able to go travel. May not even go into the city where they work. Maybe they have to work at home because they can't afford gas. Whatever it is, that is a key indicator. Another one is jealousy reverse. People are unable to be jealous during this time period, and that is because everybody is struggling. So there's a common consensus that a lot of people are looking at each other like, you're struggling? Yeah, me too. And there's almost like this kind of unity that is built upon, everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's together in this. And that is what the idea is coming here. So in terms of whether or not the recession is going to happen sooner, it's just telling me of the key indicators, whether or not it's going to happen. But we're going to take a quick look at tarot. Yeah, the war is making it worse. That is for sure. Okay, so Spirit Angels tell me, will the recession in the United States come sooner than 6 months? Okay. It could come as soon as 4 months. It could come in 4 weeks. It could come in 4 days. It might even happen during the midterm election, after the midterm election, which is very ironic. And I see a scenario in which, they say the economy is doing really well and doing really good, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they announce on the news media after the result has been almost complete, or everybody finished voting, and they say the economy has crashed or is going to crash and blah, blah, blah. It almost like it's a political ploy to kind of keep the economy afloat just until after the midterm is what it really feels like, generally speaking. Not saying that I'm accusing any administration of doing it. It just feels like in a generic standpoint, from a political standpoint, it does feel like it's being kept afloat temporarily. On the left side here, we do have the nine of wands. Yeah, the nine of swords, excuse me. The nine of swords is reversed. That is in the past. And what it was telling me that people had like some sort of talk about a potential recession, depression, that type of thing. That energy, that movement, that talk has been kind of been tired out a bit. Like people kind of get tired, like, okay, we know it's coming, just hit us already. We're expecting it. It's not a surprise. That has been the energy in the past. The current energy right now is people are kind of figuring out who they want to vote for this midterm election, which is why the Four of Wands come in. This is my kind of like my congressional type area, the congressional houses. It's really talking about the Senate and the House. So what it kind of feels like to me is the more about democracy, but it feels like on a global scale, there's just going to be either victory or loss or defeat. And this also comes out of place in the time of Ukraine and Russia, but I'm also seeing China and Taiwan. So pay attention to those two Pacific regions and even Iran as well. So pay attention to those 3 regions. It is telling me here that they are going to play a role. They're not going to be a major factor, but they will be a major factor in terms of the quality and how much you're able to receive in terms of gas prices and also how much you can even afford to buy. Lastly but not the least, we do have the Page of Cups. It does feel like, in a way, if the Democrats do win this midterm election, like my tarot cards have been projecting with the current midterm tarot card videos that I've been making, it does look like if the Democrats go in, they're going to look like a fool if they cannot get anything passed. Because it's almost like it's ridiculous that you can't get anything passed. You've been in power since 2020. You had the Democratic House from 2019 all the way to 2024, and you still haven't managed to really recover. And so that's really what it is. It feels like, in a way, this would be a stupid thing for the Democrats not to be able to get certain things done or help the economy. Because if anything, if they get stuff done, it's going to help them in the 2024 election. So it's a no-brainer that if the people are giving you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity when the incumbent party wins the House of Representatives and the Senate, it's a no-brainer to get things passed. And that is what it is talking about here. It's talking about a recession that, and the Democrats want to maintain power, they have to do stuff. They have to put forth policy. Talk policy, policy, policy. That's what's going to get you people to vote for you, regardless. And also, besides the fact of Roe versus Wade, you also want to make sure you get those independent voters, people who are very scared of the U.S. economy and the while and be able to have the quality of life that they are looking for. So that's what I see. All right, the United States economy. We're going to take an overview look on the United States economy, kind of get a general consensus here, and kind of see where that is going. And yeah, that's what we'll do. Oh, by the way, for anybody who submitted questions onto my, my question link, please stop comparing me to other YouTubers. It's really inappropriate. It's very detrimental. It's not nice. You wouldn't like it if it was done to you, so stop comparing me to other YouTubers. I do my own thing. If you don't like what I do, feel free to become a YouTuber or even yet go to somebody else. Don't disrespect me like that. It's very inappropriate. Okay, so Spirits and Angels, tell me the state of the United States economy. Let's take a look at the United States economy. Can you please tell me about the United States economy overall from 2022 at the end of today, October 17, 2022, all the way to December 31st, 2023? How is the United States economy looking overall from a general consensus point of view? Okay. How is the American economy? Okay, that's a lot. Okay, so a lot of you guys have heard me talk about the fact that having a recession now is the best thing the United States can have. And that is because when I talked about that time period in which that towards the end of the 20th decade, we're going to have a depression. And a lot of people are going to lose their job. But if we have a recession now, those people who would have lost their job at the end of the decade are going to have a new job, a new field because of what's happening now. Therefore, the people in the future are not going to lose as many jobs, and it will not affect as many families. So think of it like, okay, it may seem negative now, but it's going to be positive going in the future because a lot of those people will be more financially stable. So if you're looking for a positive, those are one of your positives. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the United States economy overall. So the first card that we have here is DACA, Dreamers. We have Stealing My Job, Build a Wall, Immigration. This is passport. The next one we have here is American Capitalism. Ultra rich versus the middle class versus the poor. It also is trying to get by. Rich gets richer, poor gets poorer. Customer versus minimum wage. We have climate change, reverse. We have discrimination, voting rights, slavery, civil rights. And then the next card here is we have the politician, president, representative, senator, governor. What's really interesting up here, it is telling me already, it is showing how strongly the economy is going to affect the midterm election. You can see right here, we have the vote in, right? We have people vote in. And then we have those people who voted because of the economy is going to make who's going to be in office. That also comes to Biden, but it also comes to House Representatives and Senators. Right? Because we have here in the past here, we have immigration, right? People are worried about immigration. Like, oh, no, you're stealing my job, right? Blah, blah, blah. And now what's going on is that there's not enough people to fill those jobs. So now that's a new issue that America is now experiencing. There's not enough people that people can hire. And sometimes a part of me feels, I don't know if you guys feel this, but a part of me feels like it's a little bit suspicious that there's no way in, excuse me for the language, how that there is that many people, many companies that are don't have enough people, but yet before the pandemic there was a lot of people. Either a lot of people died during the COVID pandemic and that wasn't released, or the fact is that they deported a lot of those people or they got rid of them. Those are the two things that I had that I thought were a little bit weird. But at my job, I won't specify my job, right, just for personal reason. When we're supposed to tell people that we're hiring, but we're actually not hiring. It's really weird. I don't know why, but we're supposed to tell people that we're hiring, but we're actually not. So what we have here is we have the ultra rich versus the middle class versus the poor. And this is kind of what it's talking about here, the wealth gap. The wealth gap is going to be very important coming into this midterm election cycle because it's really going to show how people vote based on money. All right. But it's also talking about those two groups right here, right? The middle class people who are part of that middle class remember what it was like to be a part of the middle class. So they kind of in their mind, they want that back. But they know they're never going to get it. But the poor people are being blamed because the rich people are telling them that the reason for the middle class having problems is because of the poor people. When in retrospect, it's the ultra rich. You know, during the pandemic, more people became rich during the pandemic than any other time period. We have record profits among all corporations in the United States since 1950. But yet, the United States is in an economic collapse and downturn. Prices have risen, but wages have stagnated. And what's really important as well is that even though people think in their head, well, wages, you increase wages, everything goes up. That's not really the case. If everything goes up in value, the value of the US dollar decreases. And every time the value of the US dollar decreases, less likely chance of you being able to afford more things with that $20 bill that you have. You know, $20 used to get you a full-on shopping cart. Now $20 barely gets you an item or two. Think about that. The quality of your money has dramatically decreased, so therefore you can't buy in quantity with that dollar bill. So in terms of what I'm seeing here, that is telling me here the state of the United States economy is so big, so detrimental that the United States is kind of like swinging in a way. It kind of feels like, you ever seen that little science ball where it has like that ball and it has like four of them and you swing one side and they all move and they go back, bong, 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 like that? It's like that. That's the United States economy. It's that when it goes up, it's going to come down and everybody goes with it. That's what it's telling me. What it is also saying that the Electoral College is going to play a big role here. So I feel like in a way, this also talking about voting rights. So this all comes about and it's pointing back to 2020. It's talking about 2020 and how it was all about the economy. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. We do also have here, we do have the food industry, animal abuse, GMOs and other chemicals, quality and length of life. In this aspect, it's talking about your quality and length of life. It's talking about, in the United States economy, are you better off now than you were 10 years ago? And the answer for a lot of you guys is no. The United States economy is actually at the worst place impossible, but also American life overall in general is at its worst place now. If you are someone my age, if you are 21, right, you are more likely to die than somebody in 1950. If you are someone older now, you are more likely to survive than somebody in 1950. However, the quality of life that allows you to get to that point has dramatically decreased since 1950. So overall, the United States economy, it looks like it is decreasing in terms of every sector and every section of American life, from culture to healthcare to food to music, to any aspect of your entire life is now being shaped and remodeled by the new United States economy. And in this specific economy, it's not a pretty one. Okay. Will the United States economy affect how people vote in the 2022 midterm cycle? Yes. We have already said that, yes, the United States economy will be affected on how people vote in this 2022 midterm cycle. So next thing that we're going to talk about here is that we're going to talk about the United States stock market. Should you pull out? Now, this is not financial advice. This is, again, just for entertainment purposes only. Take it out at what you will. I set mine personally. I set mine to conservative. So if there's like an economic collapse or like what to call it, if there's like a problem with the stock market while I'm at work or I'm sleeping, it goes straight on conservative, which minimizes the loss that I will face in the stock market. Okay, so this is a new tarot deck. Again, this is linked in the description below if you are interested. This is $35 for the deck. It also comes with an amazing book. This guy did a phenomenal job. I talked to him personally, and I'm going to do a video dedicated to this tarot card reading. But anyway, we're going to use the tarot card for this specific question. So, Spirit Angel Tommy, the state of the United States stock market, should you pull out? Okay, that sounds wrong when you put it like that, but just excuse that. So, Spirit Angel, tell me about the United States stock market. What is it like? What's the state of it? But from now until 2023. Until the end of 2023, excuse me. Okay. Oh, that's not good. This is my first time using the tarot deck, so it should be exciting. What's the state of the United States stock markets from now until the end of 2023? Okay, we'll take that. We'll take it. Okay. Wow, that is interesting. We have a lot of economy here. Okay, so the first card that we have here is 40. We have the first card that comes out is Capricorn, right? We have military intervention, war, right? The start of 2020 was war. Right? You kind of see the battleships here. You kind of see all those people in the military, the tank, the military men. Right, but it's also really interesting. If I am correct, I don't really know much about zodiac. I don't really do astrology in this aspect. But if I am correct, I think the Capricorn is kind of like the earlier month, right around the time period in which Ukraine occurred. So when it's talking about the stock market fell. Don't quote me again. This is what I'm just reading tarot cards. I just see it. The stock market fell right when Russia tried to invade Ukraine. What's going? Oh my God. Give me 1 second. All the tarot cards just blew off the table. I don't know how. So I am just going to pick that up. I'm going to go quickly to app break. Let's do this. Have you ever wondered how you can submit a question or a video request? Well, I will show you in this commercial how you can do that. So you go to my channel. You click on any of my uploads or any recent videos that you may see, and you go to the description. As you can clearly see, I already clicked on a previous video. You scroll down, and you click right here where it says submit your question, topic, or video request here. You can also add in a link and information that you would like to add in. You can ask at least 10, and you can keep resubmitting as many as you would like. You'll click that link, and it will take you to my website. And this is what my website looks like. You could book a reading with me. You could find my email, other information along with my YouTube channel. You will click submit your video request here, and you will click on that. And it will take you to a Google form where you guys can fill out and be able to put all your questions here. So thank you all for coming, and I'll just turn you right back to your content right now. Okay, so I found out what happened. I'm Italian, so I speak with my hands, and I must have moved the table, and it went all over the floor. So thank you for your patience. Anyway, let's go back into the tarot card reading. So we asked about the stock market. We talked about how, the invasion of Ukraine had really played a major role on the stock market. And the next card that we have here is the 6 of Coins. We have poverty, right? You kind of see this snobbish woman walking by the guy with a cup, who is unfortunate, right? But she's walking by as if she kind of feels like she is superior and he is inferior. That is reversed. And what it is telling me is, like I said, when the economy crashes, it's not affecting one group. It's not affecting one group. It is affecting a whole bunch of people. So much so, it's going to become almost like a common personality trait in people. People are like, oh, you're in pain? Me too. And it kind of feels like, in a way, it's a very uniting front. It's going to unite a lot of people because there's a common ground. The United States is not known to having a common ground, at least not in this political environment. However, the economy is what's, and the stock market is going to bring people together because there is going to be a common enemy, and the common enemy in this aspect is the economy and the stock market, right? We do have here this followed by the 5, right? And five of coins. And that is reversed. And that is kind of like very similar to the Hooverville. If you haven't watched what happened during the Great Depression, Hooverville, right? We're talking about the housing crisis. I did a video in the past, not the most recent one, but the one prior to that. I talked about the housing crisis. And during that interaction with my guys and whatnot, I was told that the United States housing market is not going to collapse under natural circumstances. But that does not mean man-made crises will collapse it. That's the difference. It is talking about here, is talking about the fact in terms of 5 of coins here, that due to this, it is talking about what happened in the past and how we got here, right? But it is telling me here that in the possibility in such a scenario in which the stock market collapses, there is a high potential that people end up losing houses. But the problem is, when a lot of people lose their houses, what are the governments going to do? The governments are going to say, we can't go back to your house. So it kind of defeats the purpose of the United States government saying, well, you can't go back into your house. The bank said you don't own the house. You can't come into the house, but we'll put you on the street. But they'll say 5% of all Americans in the United States are homeless. Well, guess what? 5 million people probably equates to 10 million people, 10 million Americans. Are you going to tell 10 million Americans that they cannot live in a house? Are you serious? You're going to go that way? It's not going to end well. And that's really what it's telling me here. It's telling me here that that concept, that mindset is going to start shifting the U.S. economy. And it's also talked about perspective. It also talked about in this aspect what you value most. We do have here, it is followed by the 4 of coins, right? Now, in this aspect, it's a little bit different. It's a guy who has a disability, I believe, who had a service animal and is a veteran, right? And this guy is a businessman walking past this individual, ignoring that individual. Almost like he, in a way, does not want to pay attention to the reality of what is going on. That card is reversed. And what it is telling me is that you cannot run away from this issue. It is going to be right in your face. It's going to be right in front of you. Everywhere you walk, you're going to see it. Everywhere you go, you're going to see it. Inflation prices, your money, your wallet. You cannot run from it. You cannot run. It's going to affect everybody. Capricorn, December 22, about January 19, ruled by Saturn, represents responsibility, hard work, and determination. Yeah, the cards are going to love you for sure. Thank you, guys. I did not know Capricorn was January, but I do appreciate that. So it is possible. It is talking about here. It could be talking about a potentiality of a new war, right? Maybe this might be indicating Taiwan and China, right? That might be where I kind of missed that because I don't know astrology, which I probably should be learning. But yeah. So the next card that we have is the 3 of coins. And it's kind of in this aspect, this is really interesting because it tells you the story that it says here that even though the rich people will kind of walk past you, businessmen, all those people don't want to pay attention to the reality. But this is indicating the kind heart of others. And this is a guy who, in the past, the first tarot card was the 6 of coins. He was given money by the woman walking past him, who ignored him but gave him money. But what that guy did was he saw the veteran with the service animal not getting money because he would be ignored by the businessman. In this card, it shows, actually, ironically enough, it has the Queen of Coins here, which is funny. But what it is showing here is showing this older man who is unfortunate providing money to the veteran, to another person in need. And what this is indicating here is that kindness is what we really need, what we need to value in this country, in this economy. So in terms of the stock market, should you pull out? It's up to you. You need to decide that for yourself. Are you using that money, that stock market money, for your own personal benefit? Are you using it to better your life so that when you are fortunate that you are able to use the money that you made over the long duration of your life to be able to help somebody else? right? Like for me, one of my long-term goals is to invest in the stock market and open up a charity where that money that I make is in the stock market. Every time it generates revenue, 25% of that goes to the charity. And every time the more money that my stock market for that charity makes, the more money the charity gets, and it just continues to grow over time, right? I'm using a little bit of my money, but I'm also using my economic aspect and understanding that, okay, how can I generate revenue without breaking the bank? And one of the ways is to invest in the stock market and have it directly correlated to a charity where they have a continuous flow of money, right? So it really depends on your perspective and what you want to do to help others. The next card that we have here as well is the Pisces card. And you kind of see here, this is the Hoover Dam and the overflowing of the Hoover Dam. And this, well, not the Hoover Dam. I don't really know what this card is, but in my aspect, based on my reading right now, it looks like the Hoover Dam overflowing. And we have a fish going upstream, right? What it feels like to me is evolution is going to play a big role. This also talks about the fact of the food economy, the food supply. Those stock markets are going to start crashing for food. And that is because the food supply is changing direction. So just say a lake had a whole abundance of fish, but those fish now are connected to a river because of climate change. And now those fish have left those reservoirs and moved out of the lake, which now means that that lake no longer has a food source for you. What it's telling me here that one of the problems going into the next couple years is that we're going to have a food shortage, and that is because animals are migrating to different areas for better life and hope that they can survive. So in terms of the stock market going to crash, it really depends on the state of the world. The state of the world is really going to dictate whether or not United States economy and stock market are going to crash in particular. So foreign policy is going to play a major role in this aspect. Okay, so the next question that we have here is, how is the job market in the United States from January 1st, 2023 to January excuse me, how is the job market in the United States on January 1st, 2023? So we're going to look at a bird's eye view, kind of see what's going on, maybe the potentially tell the economy going to crash going into the new year. And then we're going to look at job markets throughout the rest of the year and see what's going to happen. Now, I'm not predicting anything. I'm just seeing what may potentially come of it. Spirit Angel, tell me, how is the job market in the United States on January 1st, 2023? Are a lot of people losing their jobs, or are people gaining jobs? Actually, I should be using my Uno deck for this. All right, so for example, if this is upright, right, that means people are gaining jobs. If it's reversed, people are losing jobs. Okay, doesn't matter the color, just matters the placement. So Spirit Angels, tell me, how is the job market in the United States on January 1st, 2023? Oops. Okay. All right, so in there, it looks like there's going to be an increase in jobs. So it looks like going into from now until January is going to be a job increase. So from now until January 1st, right? Now we're going to take a look and see from January 1st to April 1st, how is the job market then? Are people gaining jobs or losing jobs from January 1st to April 1st, 2023? In the United States, of course. Reverse means decrease. Upright means increase. They told me it's a decrease, but we'll see. There's too many cards. Increase or decrease? Okay, so we have all upright except two down. So we have in the beginning of the month, right? So we have 2, 2, 4. Okay. Then it starts to decrease around towards probably March or April. It's gonna start decreasing, and then it decreased again by 4. Excuse me, yeah. it decreased by 4, as you can see. Right, you can see the hand here is decreasing. So it feels like towards the early months of 2023 is going to be pretty steadily good, but going into the middle of the year, it's going to start looking like it's decreased. So I want to take a look at that from April 1st now to July 1st and see what that looks like. So spirits and angels timing from April 1st to July 1st, how is the job market in the United States? Okay, it is up, it increases. Okay, but it's not that big because it's a 1. Okay, so July 1st to December 31st, 2023. At the end of the year. Okay, so we have here, oh yeah, the economy does really bad. Okay, so we have 0, 5 reverse, and then we have 3 reverse. So it feels like to me there's going to be some up points where there's potential hope, but then it just naturally goes up and down. But towards the end of the year, it's gonna be pretty bad. So I assume what it is talking about, maybe potentially the energy that I'm feeling now might be for the following year. Now I've been feeling that for about 2020. I've been feeling it around December time, so it might just be indicating 2023 might be that year that the economy doesn't do well anymore. So that would be really interesting to see how that will play out. Again, I am not predicting how it's going to happen. I'm just using the job market as a clear indicator to kind of see what may be happening, because tarot cards are not going to know 100% definite. Last question. If you have any question that you would like to add in, feel free. Okay, we have an economic depression. Okay, excuse me. Will we have an economic depression by 2023, 2008 to 2031? I did not pronounce that right, but just excuse that. Okay, so the reason why I'm asking the question is that I kind of been talking about from a while on my channel, and I just feel like at the end of this decade, we're going to have a depression. So we're going to act the tarot cards and see if it still sees that as a possibility. Spirits and angels tell me, will the United States have economic depression within 2028 to 2031? Okay. And one more. Okay. All reverse. The first card that we have here tonight, a Cups. I feel like I know who this guy is, but I don't know. But you guys probably would once you see him. But this card was reversed. And what this is telling me here in terms of this Knight of Cups, because if you look here, it says last week tonight. And we're talking about the economic depression. And you kind of see in this background of this card here, you kind of see the looming darkness in the background, the dark cloud, the dark storm that's coming, right? But you kind of see this array of redness. And that redness is kind of stimulating wildfires, like climate change. You kind of see it in the background here. But over here as well, you also see the Trump Tower or the Trump Hotel. There's a P here indicating that. They might be also indicating the collapse of the U.S. economy, and it could be directly correlated to Donald Trump along the down the line where, potentially he no longer is around. Not saying that is going to happen, but just for entertainment purposes only, just by generic aspect of age limit, there is a certain age where you kind of expect that. So we do have here in the middle card here, we do have the Queen of Cups, and that card is reversed. And this is kind of talking about women's rights in particular. I don't know who this woman is, but it is kind of talking about women's rights here. So in terms of economic depression, I feel like a lot of people kind of step aside their rights in a way. And again, this is later down the line. This is around 2008. Oh my God, I keep saying 2008. 2028. 2028 to 2031, right? This is the Queen of Cups, and that card is reversed. What it is telling me here in a way, it feels like the fight is not over, but there are other priorities that take front and center. Now, in terms of the right side here, is will we have a Great Depression? I'm not exactly sure. I can't give a good enough answer. This is because it really depends on these specific individuals. And if you guys know and remember, this again, the card is also reversed. We have the Six of Swords, and look at the guys carrying. Now, excuse me for the graphic aspect of guns, but you do see here, you do see some indicators of who they are and what they are. Really, what it is coming down to me, it looks to be, it depends if there is in the United States by that time period. It really depends on those specific people and what they are going to do with all the time that they have up until 2028. Yeah. And then we do have here the card that's on top of it is the Five of Wands reversed with the police brutality. In this aspect, will the police stop them? I don't know. I'm not saying that there's any indicators, but it is telling me here that America is in an uncertain time period, uncertain time frame, where it is very, very hard to really indicate whether or not the United States is going to be in another depression. So that is good news in terms of not being in a depression, but really bad news in terms of the entire fate of this country is rested on the few minority. Not really that good of a bit, not really a good thing. So that is the answer to that question. I don't see any questions here, so I am going to end the video. But before we do, I just want to let you guys know that I officially completed the 2024 presidential election night. It will be coming out probably in 2 weeks. I have to do some tweaks. I have to do some editing. I have to put some music in the background. I have to voice record it. I have to record the whole thing. It's going to be a whole process, but it's interesting. I've been channeling while creating it. It took me about 9 or 10 weeks to complete the project. It is officially done. It's probably gonna be a long video because it's gonna be an election night simulator. So it's gonna feel like if you were watching it from that election time period, in that timeline. So the timeline that we're going to be visiting in that specific video is going to be Earth 365. And that is where that timeline originates from. So I do hope whenever the video comes out, you do enjoy it. Also, one more update. I do want to let you guys know I will be going live one more time, probably this month. And we're going to finish the series of Trumpoween. If you have not been around with me since last year of October, we did 3 videos last year comparing Michael Myers and Donald Trump, as indicated on the picture here. But this will be the final video where we talk about Donald Trump and the end of Donald Trump. So if you have questions, definitely write them down. And I will let you guys know in the community page when I'll be doing that live video. And hopefully we put an end to the Michael Myers Trumpoween series. So other than that, guys, if I don't see you, happy Halloween. I love you.